All right, welcome to Matt Powers Fitness. We have our very first interview today. We have the 2017 third place of the CrossFit Games teams, Mr. Cole Greashaber, in the house today. We're going to be talking to him about his fitness goals, and we're going to be getting a little bit into his mindset today. So make sure you stick around to the end when we talk about that. Cole? How you doing, man?
Good. How are you doing?
Good, buddy. Thanks again for coming in. So, for those who don't know who the heck you are, why don't you tell them a little bit about yourself?
So, I am a CrossFit athlete, and I've just been trying to get better every year. I want to get into the CrossFit Games sooner or later, and I just want to get better every day.
So you want to get into the CrossFit Games. So what do you think about the whole transition of getting rid of regionals and all that kind of stuff?
I mean, it's changed. I guess next year or two will tell us how good change is. Right now, I mean, I would have liked to have gone to regionals this year. I think I could have, but it is what it is. You know, I can't change that. So
and where did you finish at in the Open?
I finished 48th after they did some adjustments.
And that's in the world, right?
Worldwide, yeah.
Worldwide. That's like including all the countries, not just America. You know, I mean, granted, we are the best. And for those of you who don't know, you know, I actually take a little bit of responsibility for bringing Cole into the competitive world of CrossFit. I brought him to his first ever CrossFit competition, and our team name was, you remember what it was?
He's not my son.
He's not my son, you know. Nope. Definitely not my son. I have two girls, so obviously he can't be my son, but it was fun. I think we finished like 6th or 7th.
Yeah, we did. I remember.
Yeah, I would like to take a little credit for our placement, but I think I held us back a little bit.
There were some 1 rep maxes, and you hit some big lifts.
Right. But there was a burpee over bar synchro, and he was waiting for me every single time that I got to the other side of the bar. So
it's okay.
It's all right. But all right. So tell me, outside of CrossFit, tell me a little bit about your fitness background. What have you been doing up until this point?
So from basically the age of 3, I was a gymnast, and until 13 and a half-ish, I was doing that competitively. I quit that, tried high school sports, was a diver for 3 years, and I did track and field pole vaults. I enjoyed them, but I never really had a true passion for them. I never felt like I could take it far.
Right.
Found this competitively, really liked it.
Yeah. In fact, my daughter's a head coach for swim is his former dive coach, Obi. Right. Yeah. And I wanted to play a little joke on Obi not too long ago, and Obi was telling me all about Cole, and he was, blowing up. Oh, Cole could have been top 5 in the state and all this stuff. And I came back to Obi like the next day or two, and I was like, hey, Obi, man, I talked to Cole, man. He had no idea who you were. And you should have seen this look on Obi's face, dude. Obi was like, really? Obi, I'm just jacking with your hand, So it was kind of fun to play a little trick on Obi there. So I remember probably like 3 or 4 years ago, you were still in high school, and you were diving, and you kind of were going there at nights and stuff like that, and you were doing CrossFit, and you kind of had to make a decision, right?
Yeah.
Was that correct?
Yeah, I did.
So walk me through that process of the decision that you made where you're like, okay, I'm done with diving, and I'm just going to do CrossFit.
So my sophomore year, I went to a dive camp at the University of Iowa, and I enjoyed being there, and I thought it was a good experience, but I realized then that I'm not sure if I want to dive in college, if that's something I want to do. And I'm really glad I went because it kind of told me that. I did well my junior year diving, and I kind of realized I want to try something else. So
it's kind of like every time I come in here and do CrossFit, like it just kind of tells me like, no, you're not good. Go back over to the platform, right? Same thing?
No.
Okay.
Not
all right.
Really.
I thought it was kind of the same thing, but
okay.
Good deal, man. So like, how did you first get involved in CrossFit? Like, did your mom and dad first bring you here, or kind of how did this whole process start with you with CrossFit?
My mom and dad took me here at the end of my 8th grade year to do the on-ramp with Aaron.
Oh, yeah?
Yep.
So was it like they wanted to do CrossFit, or was it you wanted to do CrossFit?
They were like, hey, you should join.
Wow. So you really owe them like big time, huh?
I guess, yeah.
You must have some really good parents.
They're pretty cool.
They must really love you, yeah. Especially all the CrossFit gear they got to buy him now,
Yeah.
He's just one piece of CrossFit equipment away from making the games, I swear, So let's talk about like what's you talked a little bit about kind of like the competitiveness of it. What's made you stick with CrossFit for so long? Because some people come in and out, they stay with it for a little bit of while, but you seem to be pretty consistent with it.
I really like coming in and trying to get better every day. No matter how I feel, no matter how my day's going, I can come in here. It's like a new world to me.
So you're talking about like getting better. I mean, obviously we're talking about getting better at CrossFit, right?
Right.
But like specifically, what are you trying to get better at each specific day? You have any specific goals that you're trying to get? Like get stronger, get leaner. What are you trying to do?
Well, I'm one of the weaker athletes with the people that I compete with, so obviously I want to get stronger. But I'd say just whatever my programming is right now, 100% every day. No questions asked. Just give it everything I got.
Cole's like 19. Like he's like hasn't even hit the peak at all for like his body to get to the strength here. So, for him to be the weaker athlete, I think he's probably in the top 1% of 1% of athletes that do this, I would say, for sure.
Maybe.
Yeah, maybe from the top echelon guys, but you just had a clean and jerk PR, didn't you?
Yeah, I did. I hit 340 clean.
Yeah, there you go. See? Getting better every day. So let's talk a little bit about 2017, okay? So that's when you made the CrossFit Games as a teen in the 16 to 17, right?
Yep.
So,
yep.
Okay. So let's talk about that whole process of, you training kind of up to the games. What was that process like, like getting ready to compete for like the biggest event in your CrossFit career to this date, I would assume.
Yeah, pretty much. So in December, I decided I don't want to try year-round diving and go into college for that. And that's when I decided I only want to try to make the CrossFit Games and just see if I can even do well. Mm-hmm. And Aaron helped me out. He gave me extra programming to do, and things just continued to roll. And I gained, I think, 20 pounds real quick, like 2-3 months.
Oh, yeah?
Hit a PR on almost every lift and just kept on hoping to get better every day.
Was it because you're eating that 300 grams of protein every day?
Sure. Yeah, I bet that was it.
That's not healthy, people, by the way. That's like too much protein.
Don't do that.
But he didn't know any better, so we'll cut him some slack. But at least you're eating the right amount of protein right now, right?
Correct.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, let's talk about your diet right now, because I'm sure a lot of young people out there are doing CrossFit and they want to get better and they know that they've got to get their diet in tune, right?
Right.
So like tell people like a typical day of kind of what you eat or the type of foods that you like to eat.
I eat a lot of rice, chicken, pasta. Even I've moved over to pasta just because rice does get old.
What?
Not a fan of quinoa. Tried it, just not my thing. Steak, whenever it gets cooked at my house, love that.
Whenever Wendy makes it.
Jeff.
Oh,
yeah.
oh, wow.
Jeff grills it, yeah.
His dad makes something that Wendy doesn't. This is amazing.
Yeah, and broccoli, salads. Normal stuff. I'm so used to it though.
So tell people about the time that you actually had like ice cream for one time.
I had it after the games.
Yeah.
Yeah, bad decision.
I think you had it in here too, and I think you went to train like a Friday night. You had it, and you went to training on a Saturday, and like he was laying on the ground over here.
Wasn't doing good.
His stomach was just in turn. So I guess the moral of the story is if you don't eat sugar, don't eat it. But if you should maybe incorporate maybe a little bit into your diet, so when you do eat it, your body doesn't go into a coma.
Don't just go all in.
Don't go all in. Yeah.
Bad idea.
Eat quality crap, I guess. Is
sure.
Yeah.
Try to get your body used to it before you go all in.
So you don't eat many desserts, and a lot of CrossFitters, they like to do the donuts and all that kind of stuff. What's your deal with that? You just don't like the taste of it, or don't like the way it does to your body, your mind? What's going on with that?
It makes training really hard for me.
Makes training hard.
Yeah, it makes me
in
feel
what way?
out of shape. Just like I feel like I cannot breathe.
Yeah, like you're just kind of lethargic.
Yeah. I'll have a perfect bar every day. It's about all the dessert I got.
So you're saying I can get better at CrossFit if I just stop eating crap? Like I can get like in really good shape then, huh?
It would probably help.
It probably help.
Here
Yeah.
and there.
Yeah. I agree. I totally agree. I think like for me back in the day, I used to eat a lot of the donuts and all that kind of stuff, and it was just kind of empty calories, and it does make you. It throws your whole pattern off, like in your entire life, like your sleep, your training. And it just throws everything into a tizzy, So I definitely agree with you there that it definitely makes training hard, as if training isn't always hard.
Right, yeah.
But like that famous Keanu Reeves meme, where he's kind of staring off and he's like, what if CrossFit was really easy and we're just all out of shape, Which is probably true,
Yeah.
All right, good deal, man. All right, so what would you say to a 12, 13, maybe 14-year-old kid out there who's watching, who's wants to get ready for the CrossFit Games, and they think they have a shot of making the CrossFit Games, or they want to get really competitive in CrossFit. What would you say to that person there? Like, what tips would you give them in order to help them succeed and get there quicker?
Staying consistent, staying healthy, and just try to have a passion for it. Like, if you have that passion, stick with it. Don't let it go.
Yeah. So I think that's really the biggest key with any athlete who is like at the top of their game for everything. Is the passion. You can take an athlete who has, I don't say marginal talent, but pretty good talent, and you can make them great if they have like a super passion for the game.
Yeah.
So let's talk about that passion. What is it that, we talked a little bit about the competitiveness, but there's got to be something more about why you love doing CrossFit so consistently. Because most people can't come in here and train 3 or 4 times a day with any intensity like you do. So let's talk about through that. Why are you able to do that?
I really enjoy the little things, as in, like, I look at a WOD and I'm like, man, I could have done that better because of this and this. And even, like, just continually getting better, like, muscular endurance-wise and aerobically. I'll just continue to get better. And, like, the little things like transitions that I used to not really think about, there's, like, all in my head. As in, when I get off of, like, the rower and I need to get over to, like, the kettlebell or something else, I make sure it's a lot quicker than I used to.
So run to stations?
Sure. But like, just the little things like that have really, like, sparked.
Yeah. All right.
The way I do things.
So you've made the games as a teen, and you were top 50 in the world, and to maybe the novice CrossFit follower out there, you wouldn't seem like you have any weaknesses, but you went to the Granite Games recently in 2019, and with hopes of doing pretty good,
right?
And it didn't quite meet your expectations, and you came back and you told me, you said, I've really got some weaknesses to work on.
Oh yeah.
What were some of those things that you found at the Granite Games that were like, wow, these are really glaring weaknesses for me?
Well, I did not do very well with drag rope double unders at all. That destroyed me.
I did some of those this week. It's a different type of double under.
It's rough.
It's like this instead of this or something. I don't know.
It requires you to move your arms back and forth.
It requires you to move your arms. Good
I think so.
Yeah.
I struggled with strict handstand push-ups badly.
We've known that for a little bit.
Yeah, I knew I wasn't going to do great in the event. I wasn't expecting like a 28.
You've got these long arms that are not conducive for that.
I know, but I wasn't expecting like to go down to 2s and 1s, which I did. It was not what I wanted.
So when you're like a high-level CrossFit athlete, and all of a sudden you have to go down to singles, like sort of the people that are just kind of starting into CrossFit who are doing singles for it, what goes through your mind when you're like, wow, I feel like I'm back at the beginning right now, but I'm at this big event here? What's going through your mind there?
I was pretty frustrated. I'm not gonna lie. I was kind of shocked in a way, but I mean, my back lit up, and that was the first time it lit up in a long time, and I was survival mode,
Yeah. But I mean, it's got to be beyond frustrating. It's got to be like, obviously you work on them, and then so I mean, everybody here has got a limit of skill level, I guess, for certain things. We can only snatch so much weight, you know what I mean?
Sure. Yeah.
And I think when we get into those positions where it's like, I know this is a weakness of mine, but I'm going to do the best I can, Is that the kind of the attitude that you take, or do you take a different path when you know it's a weakness and you've been working on it, but you're still not where you want to be?
Right. I mean, I don't give myself sympathy, but I think that there's some people I'll never be able to beat in movements like that. Like, if you're short-limbed, then I'm probably never going to beat you in strict handstand push-ups, but I'll probably get you on the rower every single time. So, I mean, there's other stuff that goes into this. It's not just about being short. So.
Right. I mean, in CrossFit, probably more so than really other sports, I think, has the height and lengths of your arms and all that kind of stuff really plays into, depending on what the workouts are, it really plays into a strength of yours or a weakness of yours. You mentioned rowing and wall balls. And for some reason, you like thrusters too.
Yep, I do.
I don't understand that. Why people like thrusters?
Yeah.
So thrusters and burpees are like your two favorite things to do.
I like them, even though I'm getting heavier. I do like them.
Oh, you're getting heavier.
Yeah.
So what is your weight right now?
Like 200 flat.
Is that where you want to weigh?
Ish. Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
Depends on how strength gains come through, but might get a little heavier.
So going back to the Granite Games, you actually switched programs, and when you're working with brute strength right now, is that right?
That's right.
Okay.
Yeah.
So talk a little bit about what was the reasoning for switching programming, and how's it going so far, and all that kind of good stuff?
I think it's going pretty well. So I was just writing or doing my own stuff, basically on what I felt like I needed to do every single day. And it was great in some ways, and then some ways not so much. Like, it felt like I needed some direction, which is why I started following and working with Matt Torres.
Yeah.
I feel like I did an okay job, but I just feel like someone else could do a lot better, and I enjoy what I'm doing right now. So
kind of takes a lot of the thinking out of it, huh?
A lot of it, yeah.
So what do they have you working on to get you better at your profession?
So I am basically doing a ton of strict pressing because I am very bad at that. So I'm working on just my overhead stability and strength right now, and I'm just trying to maintain what I have aerobically. So I'm doing like 2 sessions. I'm doing one after this, actually. That's just maintaining what I got, really. So not much to it.
So you were talking a little bit about injuries, and I think this is something that comes up with every athlete. Every athlete, regardless of the level that you're at, is going to get injured. You know, you talk about your back lighting up on, the handstand push-ups there.
Right.
What goes through your mind when an injury comes up and you've got to alter your training? What goes on through your mind?
It's frustrating, but I think if you try to work around it the best you can, that's the best way to look at it. Having a negative attitude isn't going to change anything, and that's usually the route we all take. But
maybe for a little bit.
Yeah, it's like, wow, this really sucks, but and it depends on the part of your body that's injured, right? Like, if your wrist is injured, you can still do quite a bit, but if your back's injured, it hurts to roll out of bed. So.
Oh yeah, trust me, I've had that feeling a couple of times.
So there's different types.
When your wife needs to help you put your socks on,
It's not good.
Hey, it's gonna be a great day. So when an injury happens, we've got to alter our training. But I'm a believer of, yes, the physical part of an injury is always hard to deal with. But I think it's really more so mentally, not knowing that you can't do what you've been doing the last 6-7 months or whatever it is.
Right.
And now you've got to alter your training. What would be your advice to people out there who, hey, they just got an injury and now they've got to alter their training? What sort of mindset should they be going and taking into their training now because they can't do X, Y, and Z or whatever it is?
Do the best you can with what you got. I mean, just work. Like, you probably have weaknesses. Everyone has weaknesses in almost every area. There's something that you can work on while that part of your body's getting healed up. So
maybe you can work on your diet at this point, huh?
For some people that would work too.
Yeah, so I mean, like, you're not working out as much. Maybe you need to cut back on the calories and all that stuff. Yeah. All right, good deal. So CrossFit is obviously it's physical. We've got to put your body through a whole bunch of punishment in order to get the goals that you want to get to.
Yeah.
And we've talked a lot today about the mentality of a CrossFitter. What do you think separates a person that's able to make the CrossFit Games consistently, one of those high-level guys, from somebody who's, maybe able to get to regionals kind of every now and then? What do you think is the big difference?
Probably their mindset, honestly, and some people are going to have better resources than others, but I think mainly mindset. Like, some people, all they have to do is train. Other people have other responsibilities. The people who have less responsibilities and the best mindset, I think, are the ones on top right now.
Right. So less responsibilities mean, like, well, you're in school now.
Correct. Yeah.
Job, kids and family and all that kind of stuff definitely plays a role into it. What would you say to somebody who's got all that on their plate, somebody who's got like a family, who's got like a full-time job, who maybe wants to make the CrossFit Games? What would you say is the mental approach that they should be taking in their training?
Just make the most of your time and try to be very efficient with how you move. I mean, it sounds so simple, but I know it's difficult to do too. That's the thing with CrossFit.
So moving, you touched on it. Moving better is really something that I've kind of. It's one that we're all told when we first start, like, well, you got to move better, and you're like, well, I'm an athlete, I know how to move, like, just shut up, I know what I'm doing, But when injuries keep coming up, or, your training isn't going the way it is, you've got to move better. And so that's something that you've been working on, because obviously you've been through a couple different injuries that have been, potentially related to how you're moving. So what are some keys that you can give out there to some people on moving better? What are some things that you've had to work on, I guess?
So I've always struggled, like, pulling off the ground hamstring wise. I've always been really weak there, and I've taken a lot of time to try to strengthen my hamstrings to make them as strong as my quads. I've always been extremely quad dominant. That's helped me with deadlifting a lot, but just staying healthy even. Like when something comes up and I light up my back and I just continue to not deadlift and work on the other stuff, it goes away pretty quick. And it's
my
been a
back
long
is
time.
broken. Yeah. It seems like the back is kind of like one area where everybody kind of gets jacked up on. It's like a back or a shoulder, you know?
Yeah.
And going back to the movement stuff, you know, is, you know, learning how to brace properly, I think is such an easy thing to say, but my gosh, it is so hard to do properly. Is that something that you've had to work on? Is that something you've struggled with too?
A ton. It took me, I don't even think I had learned at that point for like a year and a half. It took me forever. And I was a gymnast. I was completely foreign to moving like that. It took me forever. It's almost opposite of what I'm used to.
So being a former gymnast, and you see a lot of gymnasts come into CrossFit, and they actually have a decent amount of success because, you know, they throw handstand walking in there, or they throw handstand push-ups or muscle-ups in there. Mm-hmm. Do you feel like that's giving you like a really, really big advantage as far as not just in the gymnastic movements, but also being able to learn other new skills in here?
I think it has, yes. I mean, I like bar muscle-ups and stuff like that. I've been doing them now for almost 10 years, like on the bar and rings. So those were coming very naturally, and I feel like as if I gained more body weight, I still feel really good with like how those movements feel, and it's because I've been doing them for so long, or variations of them.
So outside of CrossFit, we've talked a lot about CrossFit and all that kind of fun stuff. Yes. What outside of CrossFit do you enjoy doing when you're not training here?
Well, I have school, and then I don't know. I mean, I try to recover right and have fun playing video games. I don't know.
No lady friends on the horizon?
No lady friends on the horizon. Nope.
Hear that, ladies?
Single. Oh.
Single in school, and he's got a family that makes some steak for him, and he gets pasta every night. So that's a pretty good deal right there, I think. And he's got a car. Imagine that, you know. So when you're not training, obviously you got video games and all that kind of stuff. Are you one of those athletes that is constantly thinking about your sport when you're not training?
I try to shut it off. It comes up quite a bit. Like if I don't like how things went this morning or something like that, I definitely think about it. I really try to shut it off though sometimes. I just forget about it.
Do you just jump on YouTube and watch stuff too, or you're not a YouTuber?
Not as much. I will sometimes, but I definitely do think about it for a little, or it definitely shows back up for me. So.
All right, so we talked a little bit about school. What are you studying? Are you studying anything important?
I'm in school.
No, the answer is no. You know,
I'm still thinking.
He's doing the basic courses. What are you taking, like Spanish? He's taking English.
Yeah, I took English last
I mean,
semester,
you've heard the guy talk. Does he know English? I'm pretty sure he's good, you know? He knows how to write. He is left-handed, though, so I don't know if he knows how to write clearly.
It's pretty bad.
Yeah.
That's okay.
Have you done cursive at all?
I have.
Yeah,
it's even worse.
What's that? So obviously we can't do CrossFit forever, right? We can do CrossFit for a while, but at the level you're at, we can't do it for forever, you know? So what is your goal, like, job-wise and all that kind of stuff? What do you want to do in the future?
Help people get better. I know it sounds simple, but right now I think that's all I got.
Like being like a PT or
something in that area.
Or owning a gym, or
it could be. I'm really not sure. So just taking every day as it comes.
All right, good deal. All right, well, that's interview number 1 with Mr. Cole Greashaber. We appreciate him coming on here, and if you guys can, please, if you like this content, please hit the like button. It just helps us get it out to as many people as we can. And if you can, please hit that subscribe button. I definitely would appreciate it. Thanks again, guys.